Welcome back. Is the APP 868, the Alternative Perspectives podcast. I'm Naldo.
Jude.
Yeah, and we're on the inside.
As usual.
Just about 2 weeks away from Carnival. Yeah, 2 more weeks.
Before we get into everything, I just keep asking, you're feeling any more Carnival-y this week?
Not really. I mean, what I would admit is I've seen a lot of foreigners on touching on already.
Foreigners or?
Probably
Foreign-based locals?
Probably foreign-based locals.
Okay.
There's
a big difference between them two groups of people.
Okay, all right.
I don't think we understand that.
Well, the thing is, I honestly don't know, but people who dress weird and looking a little confused. Yeah, you've seen some of them.
Some of them may very well be proper foreigners,
right? And
if they're confused, at least.
Cleo. Yeah, Cleo is back. Yeah, no, you don't know it's Cleo. Cleo is a white girl from England who just travel all over the place. She's do couch surfing, whatever.
Yeah, couch surfing. Well, she's do international couch surfing.
Yeah.
Well, she's a general, but
she did it here already, and so she's back again for the carnival season.
She have friends here, or she's
be a coach.
Or she's normally couch surfing is going from a friend couch to a friend couch to a friend couch. So what she's doing, she just bought on social media. She come in and people just offer her place.
And there are some online thing for coach. Something?
I mean, about that Airbnb.
No. It actually have a...
No. I mean, I understand what you're saying. They probably would be. I wouldn't know what it is or be interested. Because I wouldn't want to stay in some strange place. Somebody would be comfortable letting a stranger stay in the house with them. Mm-hmm. I might feel uncomfortable doing that. I might feel like the safest choice for me.
Yeah, apparently it have a legit community or whatever. So, yeah, and she just be going and staying in strangers' places, and the idea she was staying in her place, then it looked like it did not have doors and windows. Swear to God.
Well, I mean, as I say, if you're willing to just let strange people stay in your house, I wouldn't vouch for the quality of them accommodations at all.
Yeah, so she is here, so I guess people making their way here.
All right. Well, I ain't feeling no more carnival-y, let me tell you, one time.
Well, I mean, I guess if we probably jumping into some more other carnival talk later, we'll probably touch on some more other carnival thing later on.
Today, I'm going to utilize my law degree to the fullest extent.
So, all right, yeah. Nice.
No, I'm just joking. I don't want to lecture nobody.
Well, it's not the lecture, but I mean, it could break down and...
Well, what we going to break down, don't really need any expertise in law per se, but I just was kind of jokingly alluding to the fact that we talking real law talk today, because we have real law talk to talk about. Because the legal institution in this country, the Solicitor General's office, the Attorney General's office, everybody seem to be on real shit, by dog way. Real shit.
You think it's that, or some of them probably just don't know? They don't know.
Well, but
I mean, we gotta recognize that incompetence is a real thing.
Nah, I feel files going missing the day after they were served and reappearing. Wow. 2 years later, because I think it's 2020 that would have been served. 2 years later, two and a half years later, I don't think that's incompetence.
So, also, you never.
I don't think that's incompetence.
So you never you come home and you put something, you resume something, and your wife put it away, and
brother, man.
and it
didn't just suddenly appear after. The only thing it would have been useful for. No, actually, that has happened sometimes. The only thing it might be useful for has gone.
And then you find it.
Well, right. Well,
it probably have wives working in.
Yeah, I don't know.
In them offices.
I can't. That, brother, man, that story sounding real fishy. And I don't know which one I'm more comfortable accepting, whether it's incompetence or corruption, right? Like, I don't know which one would be more acceptable, because the level of incompetence if it is in fact incompetence, the level of incompetence would have to be so, I mean, it had to be so great, dog, that I cannot have any faith in any institution in this country if that is the case. But then if it's corruption, it's like, well, boy, I mean, if somebody willfully, misplace that so that the state would be hampered in their attempt to respond to this case so that men could get money, then wow. And the amount of people that have to be involved in that. Because I don't know if you read the report in the Sunday Express.
No.
Where they lay out, I guess you could call it an exact timeline. I believe it's Rhea Tate did the article. If I'm correct about that, then, big up to Rhea. It was good journalism, right? Or at least the way it was laid out gave the reader. I for once, I read the story and didn't have any more questions
than
when I started, right? More questions were answered. Now, I mean, there's still one big giant question: how the mother neck this could happen? but at least I'm aware of what took place, right? But essentially, the claimants in the case, the 9 accused, after having been found not guilty, they decided to bring this case against the state. Went and get the attorneys, one of which was Anand Ramlogan. But he wasn't the instructing attorney at any stage, I don't think. But he was one of the attorneys representing the 9. They put together a lawsuit, send the documents over, serve the state through the Solicitor General's office.
I went missing.
And somebody signed for it. And the next day, it couldn't be found. The next day, there was no sign of it.
That you are talking about. You see, wives is the problem, dog. Somebody wife move it and put it away. They rest down your thing and they say, I'll pick up that in the morning. So they get the sign fit and they say, right, well, boy, I'll go pick up that in the morning. And we go check that out. And then our wife pass and clean and put it away.
Boy, and so remember last week, I was saying, well, the fact that the state didn't present a defense.
Yeah.
You have to infer from that the state didn't have a defense to present. So in other words, they would have apprehended these guys and, kept them incarcerated, apparently without good cause. Because if they didn't present any defense, then, and I was saying, well, if that could happen to them, that could happen to anybody, and we should be worried about that. But now what has subsequently, come to light makes you wonder, wait a minute. So maybe that could have happened, but maybe that wasn't what happened. And what did happen was somebody felt it was, or some group of people felt, let's give these guys some money. Let's not obstruct this process at all. Let them fellas just, maybe they were, after having done what they did, they felt remorse. They say, you know what? Let me do.
They do jump me there.
Yeah. I mean,
we don't hold them for how much of a years already.
Yeah. And they couldn't just come together and do a settlement because then they would have to publicly admit liability or something. So they just say, you know what? Just let them get it by default now. Let's just don't say nothing and they'll get their money. I'm joking and all, but none of these scenarios seem to make any more sense than the other, and none of them is acceptable. Not a single one of them is acceptable.
I wonder if somebody could have said to their lawyer, don't worry yourself. Well, bring the case. Everything is everything. And everything will be everything. Just remember me.
Ronaldo, you see, the thing is, when you say these things, the people will, the officials will hear it and say, oh, these people coming up with these wacko conspiracy theories. But what else are we to believe? Because this official story is no less incredible than that, right? So the Attorney General is saying, first of all, he had no idea that there was a case against the state regarding this matter, right? Yeah. None at all. Now, there's another question, because at some point in time, after the government never responded to any of the notices sent to them prior to the case being heard, and when it had to be, and the defendants would have sent a claim form, a statement of case, letting them know all of the among other documents, why they feel they have a case, what all of the matters, what all of the issues are involved in the case, and what they would like to see happen. The state never responded. After, when they got no response, the claimant said, okay, well, if they ain't responding, we had to file for a default judgment. Right? The court let the state know, hey, listen, these people are applying for a default judgment. Then we send a notice that we're going to give them a default judgment. Then we deliver the default judgment. Still no response. Right? Then at some stage, somewhere along the line, there is a hearing to assess damages. And the claimants, I think they put forward, they wanted 3.5 million per defendant, or each nine, all 9 of them to receive 3.5 million. The state at that stage, by some representative of the Solicitor General's office, says, no, we want to vary it to 1.2 million, right? So the question now has to be asked, how they could do that if they never heard about the case?
Right, yeah.
If the Attorney General said, I never heard about this, the Attorney General's office was never notified about this, right? So how could a solicitor, a state solicitor, attend this hearing and with no knowledge
Just say, no early normal figure, we just give people as 1.2, dog. I ain't too sure what all the problem, you know. I ain't too sure what they coming here for, you know. What's all the case. But the normal figure we just give people wrong here is 1.2 million. I ain't too sure.
In fact, as a matter of fact, I don't care whether we did it, we didn't do it. You know, or apparently the court done register the default judgments. All right, we accept we lost. But we ain't accepting loss more than 1.2 million. But why? Why should we mitigate your damages in any way, shape, or form? I don't know. I just find 1.2 sound like a nicer number. Right? That's how we just negotiate. I just go half or what you say, and then, you know. Apparently that's what happened at the hearing. Because if she had no idea, I think it's a woman who was the state solicitor in the at that particular hearing. She just when she was mad, she just operated on her own. It's crazy, bro. And then the file appears yesterday. And now an investigation has to be launched into the disappearance and reappearance of this file.
It was probably somebody carnival boots. Think about it. If it was 2020, the last carnival we had, right? The person pack it away with the carnival boots and they take back all the carnival boots here now.
No, but it was June.
It was June.
It was June of that year.
Well, let's take the put with the carnival boots in June and it's time to jump up again. Take it back out now.
The Juve clothes. You know, they have a little spot that's through the Juve clothes now, boy, to get ready for the next year.
Yeah.
And they put it there. And now they probably register for the Juve band.
Yeah.
So he said, you know what? Let me go and see if I'm a gears. The shoes as normally wear, you know, the tights as right. Oh, good. Look the file here, boy.
The car file, boy.
Hey, boy. A big, thick, stink file too, boy. You know? And they now find it. Dog, I don't know. And this is not politics thing. This is not, you know, and this is thing. It had to be the PNM. It don't have to be the UNC. This is judiciary, right? And the system through which the law is administrated and administered in this country. And we seem to be okay with either one, the state just maliciously prosecuting individuals, or two, not doing it, but paying for it anyway because men lost in files. 21 million TT dollars. And hear this now, Nalo. The Attorney General I think he feels this make him appear, or the state appear, better in this scenario. I don't know why, but he is making it clear that the state had a slam dunk defense. So you don't understand why they didn't present the defense. That make you feel any better now?
No. we had a slam dunk defense, but we lost it, you know?
We had a slam dunk defense, but we never even felt to present the defense at all. At no point in time. Because even if the file went missing, right, on the day after it was submitted, it was served, right? The 10,000 notices that came didn't alert somebody to, hey, find that file. What case am I talking about? I see they saying something about a notice for default judgment. In some case with what I'm talking about?
You know it is. I know figure it is, you know. It could be the work from home. No, serious thing about it.
There was back out all through 2021. All of them? I think so. At least by halfway through 2021, they were all out. They were all back out. Or the majority of them would have been back out. So, I think that excuse are not falling on his face there. So
who we are looking for? The person who signed for the file?
Yes. Her name, she was identified in the story by the Express, on Toya something. I can't remember her surname. No, as far as I'm aware, no public statement from her. These two judges, retired judges, that they put on the case to investigate now. They're supposed to unearth something. But the fact that we aren't more concerned about this is concerning to me. Not surprising.
You mean we as a
concerning.
people?
Yes, not surprising. Let me be clear. Not surprising, but very concerning. And the was getting to just now. Guess what the Attorney General is indicating that he wants to do now?
You want to appeal it or?
Oh God, how you know that, Naldo? How you know that? He wants to appeal the default judgment. Now, what the fuck you gonna say? What are you going to say in this appeal? Now, listen, I'm not trying to get into the nitty-gritty. I don't know the ins and outs of the case, and I ain't no flipping lawyer, right? But, dog, what are you going to say? Well, hear this now. You didn't have a right to get our default judgment because you should have given us a chance to find back the file that we lost. You know, and if the claimants have to suffer throughout because of our incompetence,
suffer some more
after having suffered initially. If they have to
suffer some more,
if they have to suffer some more because of our incompetence, then what's that small thing? That would have been the procedurally correct thing to do, court. So here, let's do it all over again. They want to appeal the default hearing, and they want to. Well, to be fair, he said he's seeking legal advice on how to do that. Now, that legal advice is not going to come for free,
yeah.
So we're going to pay for that legal advice too, right? And then I just have a feeling we get that legal advice go tell them, appeal.
And then
they lost the appeal.
And lost the appeal. And then hold on, the legal advice now, you have to pay for the legal advice, you have to pay for the process of appealing.
Yeah.
You have to pay,
If you are granted relief to appeal the case, then that process will be paid for, and then they want to appeal the damages assessment too. So they want to appeal the judgment in the first place, then they want to appeal the amount of damages. Dog. Now this happening in the very same week that another appeal that they lodged that is your grandmother alive?
No.
Are any of your grandmothers alive?
Nah.
Right. Well, your dead grandmother, either one of them, could have told you that they lost the appeal. But they launched the appeal anyway. Right? For those who don't know, this is with respect to the AG being disqualified from representing the state and being involved in any way, shape, or form in the case against Ish and Brand and Kwaitong and Ferguson, I believe, right? It's Steve Ferguson, Ish Galbrand Singh and Brand and Kwaitong. Is Brand, is this with him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right. So he had an AG who had a lapse, what do you call a lapse of memory? He said when he represented Kwaitong for them 5 years, he was just a junior attorney. He just used to take notes. He didn't do much else. Then somehow, some time later, he found out, no, actually, no, bro, you did a lot. You actually did a lot of work, right?
And but in this, right? If you want to remember something, you should write it down. So if you're taking notes.
Oh my Lord. Naldo? No. All right. Bro, again, me no lawyer and me no legal expert. But I think if I came to find out that I once represented the defendant in a case in substantively the same matter, I don't think I need to ask another lawyer, is it okay for me to be here? That's me, Naldo. I had no silk. I don't even have a LPC or LEC. You dig? But if and remember, he is not. It's not like if this is not like what you see on TV with Tom Cruise in what's the name of that movie? A Few Good Men, where he is there in the courtroom questioning and cross-examining. He is simply orchestrating. As the AG, he's overseeing the handling of this case, right? So he's not necessarily integral to this. So it's not like if he is not there, the case can't go on properly, or you feel he's the best lawyer in Trinidad, so we need him to recover our funds, right? So we had to find every little loophole we could to keep him involved. No, he could easily have just said, oh, wait, nah, bro, I used to be I was the saddest defendant in a criminal case. I can't be any next side of this. Are you mad? But he asked the attorneys in the states, and the attorneys in the states tell him, nah, you're good. Oh, Jesus, Lord have mercy. As one of the lawyers said in the appeal the other day, pointed out, if he had done that in Florida, he could have been disbarred, you know.
Serious?
Yeah. If that same, representing the other side of a case after having he could have been disbarred for that. And he did that here. Normal. And then when they tell him, hey, bro, you're disqualified from the case, instead of just saying,
okay, yeah, I understand. I had a lapse in judgment. He said, nah, boy.
Nah, boy, dog, boy.
He said, nah.
Let we appeal.
Yeah.
And waste more money than.
So he's the appeal boss. In charge of appeal.
They say 30 million or so went with the disqualification. I don't know how much more would have gone in the appeal process, right? But it says about 30 million that just gone, burn. TT.
Right.
Just, up in smoke, essentially, because all that was done with the Sikor, or however you pronounce the name of the law firm over there, all that the scrap, all that money that the law firm over there get, that not recoverable, that wasn't their fault. You think what I'm saying? Boom, we had to start over from scratch. He appealed, waste more money. In the Venture and IPOL thing, 20 million. Poof, disappear. And we had to say it waste because, again, you saying he had a slam dunk defense.
So you had to say get away.
You give away the taxpayer money again.
Because, let me break it down for somebody who real into football. You have a dread defense line. You understand what I'm saying? Alright, you come out to play football and you decide now I'm leaving out my back four. You didn't even say bring an actually back four, you know. You leave out the total back four, right? And you run out there to play.
Or with no goalkeeper, you just say, you know what? Now goalie, you take a rest.
Yeah.
You take a rest.
And leave the post open. And then after, say, wait. But we had a dread goalkeeper, you know.
We had Thibaut Courtois, the best keeper in the world, you know. Yeah, but why didn't play him? Well, boy, a man, the team manager, he forget to write his name on the thing now, boy. And then the referee say he couldn't play, so, And we had to deal with that. That's 50 million thereabouts, bro, of all money just gone with the wind. And these same clowns coming to tell you about tightening your belt and you like too much free thing and how much of that 50 million could have gone into restructuring TNTech so that we might be able to still keep the rates as they were.
Right.
How much of that could have gone to fund a gas subsidy? Right.
Or put something else in place to easy burden one way or the other. Right?
No, you go tell me the constantly spending on a gas subsidy is unsustainable and okay, cool. But then you're burning 50 million. I would have rather give me the gas.
And I mean, but the thing is, this is only two things itemize. So there's probably so many of them.
Then we could easily, I would feel comfortable presuming that we waste at least $1.5 billion every year. Now I say waste, I mean things like that. We don't even talk about corruption, thieving straight. Although some people might say some of this might, but you know what I mean. But there's Franco man thieving, right? I just talk about wastages with public servants making dotish mistake and having to restart project and pay contractor away and do nothing. And with all of that, we probably waste $1.5 to $2 billion every single year. I would feel comfortable going to that. And it could probably be more. Probably is more.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And these same clowns coming to tell you now, boy, time's hard, or you don't understand how things going all over the world. You have to pressure and you have to tighten your belt and you have to learn to live, to be more creative with your spending and all kind of jackass thing.
You know me, I try to break it down for the people because there are some people who, they ain't grasping it, right? Picture it like this. You're living in a house and for the fellas, let me say a father, right? For the woman, let me say a husband. Or you could say a father too. He in the house and he going and gamble the money. He going and drink alcohol.
Buy hose.
Right? Or whatever. Right? do all kind of naughtiness with the money. And then come home and tell all, hey, take off that light, take off that. You know, you have schoolwork to do, light a candle. You can't be wasting electricity. You understand what I'm saying? What are you doing? Are you hotting up food again? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, what more? All feel money from trees, or?
Yeah, and while he is out there gambling, drinking, spending money on birds.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's going on. Wastage, and you know, that has always been my song. If you come and tell me the gas subsidy, you had to make some changes, fine. No problem. But it can't be you wasting the money, throwing away the money otherwise. And then they come and tell me, well, yeah, now, boy, but we have to do this now. You can't come and tell me now the same thing with the electricity. And I have always said that will continue to happen. From the time we keep accepting it, you know what I mean? They're going to continue doing shit.
Yep.
People are going to continue getting money, wasting money and getting money. And then they're going to tell us, nah, well, all you have to feel the pressure and all you have to understand. And then their heights, whether it be UNC heights
or PNMites
or whoever heights, let's see, you do understand.
Yeah. The sycophants will back them to the
end. You do understand. The time's hard. And while money wasting and pelting away.
Dog, I mean, let's be honest, dog. We used to work at the same place. We used to get talk upon talk for stupid little mistake, leaving our pot open and, you know, dead air. You know what I mean? Was these people who received our file, whose job it was to refer to the file whenever note. Them people on big money, dog. People have degrees and experience. If you was to apply for the work, they say, where are qualifications? But you can find a file, If you have a file, right, and you know where you could put the file, a big thick stink file, so you could put it where you can find it, right? Right. But these people on big money, dog, and I mean, listen, there probably is more to the story. Many of these people might be, you know, they may be made scapegoats because somebody tell them to put it somewhere. Somebody, you understand? Somebody told them to respond or you understand what I'm saying? But the point is, you tell me that, because otherwise what you're telling me is we have, or despite all of the processes that we ensure are put in place to make sure we hire the right people and the best people for this and the best people for that, we hiring retards. That you understand what I'm saying? We hiring real careless people. Because men just, hey, boy, I see somebody send something about some case, boy, you know what? Nah, boy, dog, boy, just throw that away, yes, I don't know.
There is that arrested.
You understand what I'm saying? But nobody involved. I mean, there might be a clerk who gets more money, but all these people here, big money they get, boy, now, boy. And that's what listen, I telling you, me as the Attorney General, I tell you before, I kind of like he vibes and things. I didn't get to watch live the press conference where he explained this situation here. But I don't know if I could feel comfortable going on any platform and explain what he explained.
And talk that.
And feel good about myself, and feel like I am representative of some sort of competent
And here's my
organization,
thing, And for the people who might try to defend that, dog, at the end of the day, if you end up being tied up in something and you have any integrity, you could step down. You're going on, boy. You see this? Because I'm pretty sure people step down in other countries. You understand what I'm saying?
Boy?
Something like that happen?
Dog.
Hey, boy.
Dog, if this happened in the UK, the Lord Chancellor, which is essentially equivalent of the AG, wouldn't last a day. Would not last a day. They would hound him out of office immediately. Come to tell the public he never hear nothing. The Attorney General's office never knew nothing about this case until the day it was reported on in the papers. Bro, if that is the case, then done. That whole office need a overhaul. And we can't overhaul everybody, but we go start with you. You had to ride out, bro. How you could feel comfortable coming and telling people and then saying, oh, we had a slam dunk defense. You get me more mad because now I'm like, oh, okay. So you're not even saying it would have been easier to just throw the police under the bus, right? And say, well, boy, them police and them, it appears that the police and them were, they didn't have, or you can even say, well, it's not that they were, it's not that they were they had no just cause to arrest and charge, but over the time the case got very complicated and whatever. You could have just told me that, right? And to be fair, that's something I could live with. When I say live with, I mean understand. All right, sometimes the police might be overzealous. They might try to put a case on my. It's not good. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but okay, that's fair. And you could have just left. You could, if that's where you come to them, then I can understand. But you come and say, no, actually, no. The case, the state just had numerous occasions where we could have, pressed some gas on finding our file, but we just didn't. And you know what? And don't feel the case, the state acted untowardly and at all. Don't feel we had a slam dunk defense, and maybe we'll get to present it now on appeal. Brother man. Trinidad and Tobago, we heading nowhere fast, and the fact that we accepting all of this and we feel this is cool, and we just like, yeah, cool.
The next 50 million we not spend, the 100 million in quick time, and so and that's just the ones we know, the ones that are public, the ones that everybody doesn't know of. I tell you, I know somebody who sue and make couple million. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. On a real ship, it's silly case too.
And I mean, listen, I could understand, okay, the public service is a large body, right? And you'll always have incompetent people, you'll have people, it's very, very difficult to run that ship with no wastage at all. I'm not saying that. But this brother, man, and for him to feel comfortable coming and giving us this explanation, feeling like, let me clear up, let me clear the air with the situation. You're not clearing the air, bro. You're making your entire office look extremely incompetent.
Yeah, but there's no repercussion. I think even the Prime Minister, at this point, the Prime Minister should say, hey, somebody I take the fall,
Well, I mean, how we gonna do that? That could be our next AG.
Well,
no, I'm not saying he shouldn't, but I'm just saying this is probably what's going through his mind. Because everything is optics. Remember, we just do away with our next one who apparently couldn't write laws or couldn't...
Well, the thing is, but they didn't make it look like that. So, but this time...
Yeah, but everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. And he knows everybody knows. So now you come with this one now, and remember, it's right after you appointed him that this one get disqualified. And hey, brother man, wait a minute, you didn't remember that part? You had no clue. Boy, I can't remember.
I come like, a long time, and not yours, but people hot boy days, you blaze that thing, and you totally forget. Yeah. Right? And how long you represent? 5 years.
5 years.
You blaze that thing for 5 years, and you forget she completely.
And when the Law Association brought the motion and no confidence against him, bro, had big time lawyer defending that shit, Who, because obviously the motion failed, so somebody was in his corner. Or a lot of people were in his corner. Big time, big name lawyers out here defending that shit,
Well, to be fair though, I understand your point, but to be fair, that's what lawyers are supposed to do.
Not when you're hired to, but not for free. Not for free unless you were hired to.
Unless you're looking for work. Because you see that there's a gravy train here, dog. Hey, them is M's, dog. I telling you, them is M's. Them know what they're doing. Oh, so I'm telling you, you're safe. Don't study them is M's.
Because them want to get the legal advice when they want to appeal case that don't need to be appealed to.
Yeah, exactly. You understand?
Them won't get paid to provide the legal advice to tell the government what they want to hear, which is go ahead and appeal, and then get hired to conduct the appeal, and then the loss
and I get money. And at the end of the day, I get money, but it's not my fault. You lost. You know what I'm saying?
Dog, hey. Although I just find it beyond comical to say you were once defending this man, bro, in substantively the same matter, and you didn't immediately say, hey, nah, brother man, I can't be involved in this. I think Faris was who they substituted him with, right? Let's tell Faris one time, go ahead now. You take over this. I clearly can't get involved in this. I was the man defender.
But that's not what we call Jen either too.
Now listen, the most generous way to view this, if you really want to be, if you're trying to be sympathetic to them or to him, you can say, well, maybe he did it with the nation's welfare in mind, because he wants to have he wants to give the state the best chance to recover the money from them fellas, right? He wants to win the case. So he's not going to recuse himself because then he wants to be able to use his insight.
And he doesn't trust people below him. He thinks that he's the only person who can go there and win this case for the government.
And oversee the process. And because remember, he not licensed to practice in Florida. He can't go in no court in Florida and make no statement, bro. He is simply dealing with the foreign attorneys who are fighting the case. And he couldn't simply say, nah, brother, man, I let somebody else do that now, boy. Boy, craziness now, though. But talking about the lawyers who are afraid to maybe speak up against or who felt they still had confidence in him, right? And you mentioned what might be their motivation. I came across the article in the papers there today with Earl Fabian claiming that he was hired to MC a show and he was told outrightly to avoid telling anti-PNM jokes, right? And he was supposing or opining that he believes it's due to the fact that people are afraid that because it was a Calypso show, right? So in order to always invite the the officials to come to the shows and whatever. And he feels that, what is causing that is that they don't want the officials to come to the events and be offended. Right? And then they might lose out on the little kakada they just get.
I was going to say that kakada too.
Yeah.
But whatever dust they just get to porn,
Yes.
The thing.
Remember, I brought this up before, when the comedian, I never remember his name. It's NCW. It's NCW. No disrespect, bro. I know on social media like that, so it's not that I'm trying to say insignificant. I just can't remember his name. But he did a video mentioning similar things. And he managed to talk about
issues.
Issues, what I mean?
Not necessarily talk about the
political,
the politicians themselves.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, I don't think Earl Fabian want to come and bash the politicians himself. He'll deal with the issues, but this happened to be the party in power at the time. So it would fall on them.
Look bad, if you look bad, it's because I criticizing what's happening and you are in charge, not because I come at you. I come at you personally, right? And he was saying, I think he was talking about how he was vocal about COVID, and some of the policies that the government was putting in place. And he felt that was also leading to him being blackballed or certain promoters staying away from him. So are we seeing how long the arms of the government could really be in this place, so that everybody is so dependent on the hand of the government to make ends in life that nobody could criticize? You're afraid. Because I don't think that's not one. I don't think that is any government minister call. If like we say this thing with Earl Fabian did in fact happen, I have no reason to doubt him. Let's say I don't think it's any government minister call that man and tell him, hey, if you're hiring anybody, tell them we don't want to hear that. It's just you just kind of look at the situation and realize who does get a back scratch is the people who does sing the song.
Right. So I don't think it's that. Even though I wouldn't put that out. I wouldn't put that out at all.
Yeah.
Because I've seen things that happen.
Yes. Right? We've seen things like that.
We have seen things that happen, right? However, I think that is why the government still wants people to be dependent on them in this country.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Whether it be Soca Monarch, whether it be whoever or whatever.
Yeah, the Kaiso tents.
Right? The Kaiso tent, Calypso Monarch, NCC, everybody. I think that is why. And obviously, the people who involved in these things, hey, if we could get money and we not have to work as hard and whatever profit we make, we could take and spend it for ourselves and our friends or whatever.
Right.
Okay, we will take the money from them. And then we, of course, have this mentality in this country that they are lords and gods.
Yeah.
So we're not supposed to make any jokes about them. We're not supposed to say anything about them.
Yeah.
And so I think all those things go hand in hand.
I wonder if that is a small island thing, but if it's because our economies are so, in the grand scheme of things I'm talking about, no disrespect to small islands, and because we are in fact a small island, and then people point out Singapore and say, hey, but them not so. But but that's a completely different story. But the point I'm making is that whether this the sorts of economies that we have on these small islands means that we can never really get away from that because, there's only so far the private sector could take you. There's only so far you could get in this country without government contracts, without in some way, shape or form getting employed by the government.
And I mean, I don't know if you want to touch on this, but it come like, and we don't know if it's fact. And I think we talk about it on the podcast already. You would have applied for many government jobs, and for whatever reason, jobs you're qualified, overqualified for, and for whatever reason, we even talk about a situation where thing reaching people's hand, and they see the name and it's like, nah.
yes,
nah.
Yes, and I was told directly that. I mean, the person didn't say why, but they did. The person put forward 2 names. They accepted one. And the excuse they gave them for why they didn't accept mine was relevant to the other person too. But they accepted the other person.
Right, yeah.
Right? And so, yeah, go ahead.
And I mean, of course, people know you just do these things. People know you.
Right,
we have these conversations and whatever the case may be.
Yes.
So it's quite possible.
And when I was on the radio, it was similar.
Right.
And I was on state radio. So,
I mean, and I could tell you I was working on state radio. I could remember 3 times, right? I had errors and uncensored songs played. Right? I never get in trouble.
Yeah.
I never get in trouble. Every time I made some joke about minister or some part, and don't get me wrong, I make joke about the UNC. I remember at that time, in the early when the PP now came into power, right? They were thinking about building our next airport down Central. I don't know if you had heard about it.
Yeah.
Right? And so we talk about whatever the case may be. And I just say, hey, them on airport.
Yeah.
I just see the woman outside the studio. Serious face. As shift done.
Yeah.
Meeting.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Next time was a joke with Colin Wirt and Maxi Coffee and them.
I remember the Maxi Coffee.
Yeah, right? And it's pull up again, but as I say,
never
all kind of things.
Uncensored music. Yeah. I never got into any issues other than when I spoke about Rowan Sinanan. I don't know if you remember that. And she claimed that she was not instructed to tell me anything, right? But it's strange because she had never come to me. She never came to me mid-shift before. As a matter of fact, other than the first couple times I was on air, she never spoke to me about what I was doing on air at all. At all. Never had any conversations about, hey, it was this, it was that, it was good, bad.
You remember your development or lack of development?
Nothing. But the one time I spoke about, this was something to do with the boat issue. This was early in the game. And I think that was around the time when the Sea Bridge was down for a little bit because of some issue, right? I can't remember all the details now, but I mentioned, and all I said was, if all that was being presented was true, I can't see how he could continue as Minister of Works and Transport. That's, to me, not saying I find he should get fired. I'm simply saying if those things are true, I don't know how he could continue. And what? I said that, and the next commercial break, she was in the studio. And again, skirting around the issue, trying to say that I should not call for the firing of a minister. I couldn't understand why even if I was calling for it, I wasn't campaigning, I wasn't on the radio, but fire that man. No. I'm simply saying, well, listen, I'm talking about the issue. The story is what we're talking about. And I'm talking about the issue. And I'm saying, if all that's been reported here is true, then I don't understand how we could continue on as minister. She claimed that, the way I criticizing the issue or him wasn't the problem. It was calling for him to be fired. No, I wasn't calling for him to be fired necessarily. But even if I was, why? Why can't I call?
But it comes just like the situation with the policeman. If that same situation that happened with the policeman and the traffic warden.
Right, yeah.
You would have been on radio and he would have said that. He would have said, if this is to be true,
Right, exactly, right. Then
I can't see him continue to be a police
officer. Right.
And nobody would have walked in the studio.
Nobody would have walked in the studio. Right? So what made the minister some kind of, sacred cow, But obviously she never answered that question. And she claims that she came of her own accord, that she was not told to come.
Well, I mean, in the situation with the Maxi Coffee and Embert and the joke I make, I know she didn't hear it at all.
Right.
I'm again, I call, do not put back on the mic and leave the studio. No. If you put back on the mic and say anything, you understand? And she didn't hear. She come to work the Monday and ask
what was said,
and ask the person in charge
to give her
a copy of what was said. So clearly, people making them calls.
People were calling. Yeah.
So the thing is, the arms of the ministers are long. And I tell people before, I've heard, I don't know, the calls didn't come to me, but I've heard even private-owned TV stations and radio stations being told, hey, listen, election coming on, I know all you want some of the campaign budget. So if all you tone it down, we're not selling no ads, but election time for it. And for people who don't know, election time is when a lot of these media houses, whether it be print media, radio or TV, that's when they make plenty money.
No, that's when they make the float, what they could use, the margin of error for any underperforming years comes around that time. Man.
For the people who don't know, a full-size ad in the papers, a full-colored ad in the papers, back in the day was $10,000. I would think it could possibly drop now because things get a little hard. So I sure that's $8,000-9,000 now. For one day, one page.
Yeah.
So just imagine
when you're seeing page upon page upon page upon page.
And the political party tell you, if you continue talking about you and writing about you, we ain't spending our money by all year.
$6,000 for a 30-second in the news. 6,005 sometimes. I remember them kind of rates. So, and you think about when election time coming, how many ads you see during the news.
Yeah.
So imagine our food getting cut up now.
And that's how easy it is for people to manipulate, the news, manipulate the stories that come out, manipulate the masses. Yeah. You understand? And you thinking that you getting the full story, you getting a proper story. Nah, G.
And I mean, just on top of that, imagine the kind of control they have over who attends press conferences. That was a matter.
Yeah, the other day,
that came up just the other day. If you know you want to attend those press conferences, because as a journalist, it makes your job easier. If you go there and you could ask direct questions, makes writing a story easier. You could go there with an agenda for a type of story you want to write, and you don't have to depend on other reporters to ask the questions on your behalf and get the answers you're looking for. No, you could. So you want to be able to do that, right? And if by asking tough questions, you start saying, "See, dog,
he can't come again." Yeah. And we have seen it happen to Akash. What's his name? Akash Singh?
Samaru? No.
Samaru. It's not Akash Samaru.
He's the chutney singer.
I don't know. Whoever the Akash dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Akash Samaru. Right?
So who's that? Was he the chutney singer anyway again?
You want to sing him today?
Yeah.
Can't remember. Was not he?
Alright, cool.
Right? You see it with happened with Robert Amaro the other day.
Yeah.
Right? I think one Indian girl from CNC3, I think.
Yeah, I think she had some problems.
Yeah.
Urvashi? I can't remember.
One of them, I think it was Urvashi Tuari or one of them.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, Akasamu is right. He's a reporter. He's a CNC3 reporter.
Right? And
but he got blacklisted, or he was just treated badly by.
Nah, at that point they had locked him off from the
COVID ones?
Yeah, boy.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, they might say they mightn't call his shot, and it's the office call his shot.
But yeah, we all know how that is go. We all know how that is go.
Yeah.
Somebody in the office get a call, and then them call the shot.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Adish Samaru.
Adish.
Yeah, easy wrong to lie down, man. Yeah.
So the thing is, these things happen, and the reality is, I tell you, these are the things that frighten me, because like, how would go fix, boy? How would go fix? Their arms are way too long and way too strong.
I don't think it will be fixed. I think But if there is a way out, as I always say, it has to start with us. It has to start with us holding them accountable, so that it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, for instance, it used to be like this in the States. Now things have become so polarized, politically polarized now, that, and people are so in it's kind of like here now, where people don't care about truth anymore. They're just rooting for the team, and so the team, once the team is winning, they don't care if what they're doing is good, bad, indifferent. They'll let them get away with shit because it's on the team. But there was a point in time, I would say maybe to me, it appeared to be in the mid 90s when I became aware of it, like mid 2000s, where it used to be the situation where people held firm to a particular principle, and when they saw that principle violated, they didn't just stand back and say, well, because it's my brethren or my team doing it, I go just, So if a reporter who was asking tough questions was banned from a press conference, I remember it happening. I remember there was a reporter from CNN. I try to remember. If I'd known, I'd have gathered the facts before I came to talk about it. But he was treated badly, and I think he was eventually kind of barred from some of the press conferences in the White House, and all of the press stood up. All of the press, the right-wing press, the everything, everybody said, hey, shit. Yeah, he just asks, and he might even annoy me. But nah, dog, it can't be on that. And they would have done that because they had the support of the people too.
Right.
The viewing public would have been like, yeah. I mean, he might be on the wrong team. I hate that team. But dog, it is your work to come here and answer hard questions. What happens in Trinidad? You ask a hard question. Oh God, we asking the prime. He's so disrespectful. We ask the prime minister a question.
Hold on. Them have a UNC agenda.
Yeah.
Or if it's the next side, it's a PNM agenda.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I think that is the most mind-boggling thing it have in this country for me. You would have had that experience, right? On radio.
Yeah.
It's that horse today. People could cuss you and tell you, you're a UNC boy.
Yep.
And the next day, you say something about the UNC. And the same people, or let's say the same people, some people who was listening yesterday would call and say, but you're a PNM boy. Well, you're PNM. And we just get on TikTok. I swear if we're going to watch the videos and read the comment, because people is, boy, you see, all this set a UNC and then they're thinking, only singing PNM song.
One man say he's gulping the PNM Kool-Aid or something. So,
drinking the PNM juice. And I be like,
it's just one saying singing for their team is the enemy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I went through that on the radio. A man, well, people might know him. I don't know if viewers of this would know him, but he's famous for calling on talk shows, Mr. Porter Spain. And calling and rinse me out, dog. Rinse me out how they could have me on state radio thing. And I have an agenda against the PNM and it did blah, 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 blah. To be fair to Mr. Porter Spain, he eventually called back. He apologized. And he used to bring it up every time he called to. I apologize. I thought thing. Now, he used to say that he was objective. Well, he had the bias, right? But to be fair to him, he did apologize. But 2 days after he did, this woman calling. I never met her, but she sounded like an Indian lady, right? And she went down the same road, trying to say how I come on, because remember, I was there when the PNM in that incarnation of CNMG into TTT. So when the PNM come over, they flush out all the good people and they bring the people to sing them song and the this and the that and the other. Within 2 days, bro, 2 or 3 days, it was all in the same week.
Right, yeah.
That one man called me and cussed me. Well, he didn't curse, but he came close to. He was really emotional. He was really, and that was in the early days of me being on radio. So it was like shocking. I almost, didn't know how to carry on the show after that. Kelly ended up coming in the studio afterwards, like, that man was real out of time. You know what I mean? He was really emotional. And then 2-3 days later, one called me and told me, I anti-UNC and I just come on. I was one of them they bring on to sing the Balize song. That's just how it is. And because we are like that, this could never solve.
It could never fix.
Because the people who have to kick up a fuss, let's talk about this 50 million thing, and the people that kick up a fuss about it, they quiet like church mouse, because It's the team.
You know, people, let's say, if somebody is really a friend, they wouldn't let you do shippiness. Or they'll correct you now, boy. Right? Well, correct them now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's bacchanal, you know.
No.
And that is, I think, that is a real serious problem that we have, that once you try to correct me or point out a flaw of mine, you know, and I guess it's immaturity as a people, immature minds, that you can't say, well, cool boy, let me check myself. And
it's also because they become so emotionally attached to these parties. They act as if these people care about them. They feel, you know, all rational thinking goes out of their brain. They become, because the reason why they can't, like, even if they're willing to admit that, you know, the team doing shit, they'll just briefly admit that and then go, well, but the next time, when the next team was doing well, they can't just stick on, hey, it's country I care about. I care about whether we doing good or we doing bad. And if you doing shit, dog, I want you to stop doing shit. The reason why they can't do that is because they see the other team as their sworn enemy. The sworn enemy. Like they don't look at supporters of the other political party as just, you know, fellow countrymen who just have a bad idea of what political party. No. They feel as if they're mortal enemies and they can't give their mortal enemy a win.
Why would I admit is the Democrats and the Liberals in the States, they find a real decent way to be that way in terms of to continue winning. Because right now in the States, if you call yourself a patriot, they call you a racist.
Right.
If you say you're patriotic and you love this country.
Not just in the States, all over Western civilization. The European countries going through the same thing. In England, if you hang a Union Jack in front of your house, that is essentially a flag saying, yeah, I a skinhead. That's how some people see it. You know what I mean? Loving country, they conflate that with white supremacy, because what you love is they feel like the only thing you could love or could be holding on to is a racist, colonialist, you know, imperialist past. So you must be yourself a racist. So it's not just in the States, but I get the point.
Well, so then there's the liberal agenda. Right?
In Western civilization, yeah.
And that is so great in terms of how their strategy.
Yeah.
Because then if anybody says stand up against them to say, hey, listen, I care about country.
Yeah.
No, but you care about country because you're racist. And you're this.
You want a certain kind of country. That's the kind of country you're talking about. You know what I mean?
And that's not what you're saying, but they don't paint it like that.
Yes.
And that is a hell of a thing.
Yeah. And I think what they generally have done, what they've generally been able to do was to conflate, I guess, right-wing ideologies with, they use right-wing as a pejorative in the way they would never use left-wing as a pejorative. If you see it with men like Joe Rogan and them, who, despite the fact that almost all of the ideas line up, I guess you could say on the political right or whatever, they still kind of recoil whenever you call them that, because they have done a good job of making right wing seem like Hitler. Everything on that side of the political ideology or the political aisle is essentially Hitlerism, right? And being liberal with being compassionate and kind and now. It doesn't matter that you're being compassionate with other people's money, right? You know what I mean? You and your compassion only goes as far as to say you support things. You don't really work. You don't do anything to help anybody around you. You just pretend to have the right beliefs. But they've kind of made it into, okay, well, liberal means kind and compassionate and progressive and all the good things. And conservative or right wing means, well, Hitler. So you know, you make that easy, kind of. People self-segregate after that, because when you make it that way, when that is the general way that the cultural zeitgeist flows, you just like, all right, cool. Well, I don't want to be that.
No, so I'm going to make a point now and I'm going to touch on two topics, which will spin off of the same topic we're talking about, and this will also marry to the next two topics, right? You know, you had make a point to me a while ago, like even when we were talking about the Black Lives Matter and people and white people. And you know, one thing they say is, horse, you could never get something to work or get peace in a situation if every time you have to have a discussion is because one is bashing the other. Right?
Yeah.
And you know, you make that point. If you're married to somebody, every time you and your wife have a disagreement, you call her names.
Yeah.
You say bad things about her.
Yeah.
You highlight all the bad things in her family. Not necessarily her, but her family does.
Yeah.
at no point they're going to be like, yeah boy, like,
you can't be seeking a resolution.
Yeah.
You want to vent. You want to get your frustration out, you want to hurt the other person, you want to do all kind of things, but you don't want to find a resolution.
Right.
Right.
And so I had this experience on TikTok this week.
Gosh, social media ban.
Yeah.
Rab. All right. Let me get
But I wouldn't say it's a rap because I mean I just tell some people some disrespectful things and move on. I wasn't really looking to, you know. So but the thing is, so watching some cricket and 2 cricket going on at the same time. T20 going on and then West Indies tour or Zimbabwe. Alright? And I watching this West Indies tour Zimbabwe dog. And I'm falling asleep. No, granted it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Right? But nevertheless, it is boring. Right? We're talking about, let me see if I can remember the figures now, like 65 runs of a, or 75 runs of a 30-something overs. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, dog.
Yeah.
Way boy, dog, boy.
Plenty more balls than runs.
Right? Yeah. So I was like, so I just do a video. I was like, you know, I think it's time we kill off Test cricket, boy. You understand what I'm saying? What do you think? Right? And, you know, I show the Test cricket going on and the T20 going on and how much more action. You know, as you switch across to the T20, it's 4 man hitting one time. Big numbers, whatever the case may be. Now, obviously, it have way more nuance of my thing. And there's a question asking, 1. And 2, I mean, of course, we could still talk about how one is going to sustain itself if one has way more viewers than the other and way more patronage or whatever the case may be, right? Nevertheless. So I bring up dog and people and I put on TikTok, dog. What's people telling about modern thing and all that?
Wow.
You understand?
Wow.
But they should go and play cricket on your mother and nah.
Wow.
No, I started to get mad,
Wow.
because I like us like
But you should know better than social media.
But I don't know how people. First of all, how did you get married to Test cricket so much, right? And this was a simple question. And some people who had
after I can't play cricket and your mother.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Boy, man called me dance, man called me all kind of thing, right? And some people now, boy, Test cricket is the foundation, and it had to live on, and that's for the men, whoever. For me, I understand that point. For me, I think what it is an opportunity for people to make records, if it's one thing.
No, and I mean, it's something that the purists of the game enjoy.
Right.
Because you get to see cricket with all the strategies. In the sense that, you know, T20, because of the necessity to make runs or for the limited number of balls, you have yes, there's some strategy involved to manage them 20 overs, but it's only so much strategy. Test cricket, you get to see batsmen play defensively, wear down bowlers, see how bowlers deal with having to deal multiple overs in one day, and you know what I mean. So, for a cricket purist, it is way more entertaining. And I know people who find it who don't watch T20 because they don't like that form on the game. They could barely stand 50 overs.
Right. I would assume, you know, there's a certain set of people, right? And that's all well and fine. As I say, a simple question. But I watch how people try to make this into a polarizing thing now.
Right.
At the end of the day,
that's social media.
And at the end of the day, it's the same cricket. Two of them playing cricket.
Yeah.
West Indian players playing in the both things that I showed.
Yeah.
Right? And as I say, it's a simple question. And you could say, nah, boy, I think it's a room for this.
Yeah.
There's just some people say, well, nah, this way men just grow. This way men just come up and learn. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, people come at some different, but there's some people who jump out real wild boy, dog boy. And I just like, why? You know, kind of, because I could understand you getting married to politics. I could understand you getting married to your political side of the coin. I could understand you getting married to your
COVID.
Kind of you getting married
COVID
to that
policies
too.
and COVID. Yeah. That's the people did become married. Did get married to those things.
I could see you getting married to your race.
Yeah.
You know, you believe in your race and you want to stick out your race and whatever. I could see them thing, but I really couldn't see how.
Well, I don't think it's that they were married to cricket. I simply feel that social media brings that out of people. Nobody would have behaved that way if you had said that if you were in a bar and said, then fine, we should just done with this test cricket thing. People might just say, boy, you're mad or ting, you should put out. But nobody would behave like that.
Yeah, and
but it's social media brings that out of people.
I being honest with it might be a real good thing. I'm being honest with you. It might be a real good thing with social media for how it is. Because you talk to me like that in person, no, I'm going to have a difficult time not coughing in your face.
But they wouldn't. That's the thing. They wouldn't. They're not. Nobody is as offended by what you said as they claim to be. They're not as angry. They're not as vehement. You know what I mean? No. I mean, I could understand. I know, and I doubt they're on TikTok. But there's some older people.
That's some old men. Jude, that's some old men. Men with grey hair, boy, Jude, boy.
All right, okay.
And men being rude, you know. I said, I said, so
did they come after you the cricket thing? Right?
So I do matter slap you, boy, dog, boy. I could just swing my hand, boy, and they go fall long, boy.
Wow.
But only on TikTok here being wild. I like, what the ass
I think it is the fact that, in front, you're trying to get the most reaction. Social media is training us to be very antisocial, right? So I always take whatever I see on social media as maybe whittle it down and maybe 2% of it is true. 2.3% of it is true. Now, that might be wrong sometimes. Sometimes somebody might be 100%, authentic in what they might say or do on social media. But I just take, because I know even when I was very active on social media, a lot of things I used to post weren't really, one thing I was really feeling, is I saying these things so that I want to get a reaction. I want to get likes, or I want to start an argument, or I want to, you know what I mean? So a lot of what is on social media is a performance. Is a performance. If you had said that in front of them same old men, yes, they might have been vexed. They might have said, "Boy, these young people."
No, but the thing is, and here's my thing.
None of them would tell them go and play cricket.
Yeah,
anymore.
but you see, the thing is, even how I phrase the question on TikTok, I didn't say it should die. I just saying, hey, listen, what I think, and I make sure and say that what I think, because I'm a person, and I always say that it might be my curse. I don't get married to anything like that, boy. My wife nice, Yeah. But I don't get girl because I don't feel any way about any particular thing that strongly. One and two, I don't have favorites in anything. Nothing I have favorites in, right? So it's not like I real about T20. Yeah. Nah, I like what's all I feel about this. Probably as vexed because I had to work.
Right.
And I had to work the test cricket and no, don't get me wrong, I had to work T20 at the same time, but you actually had to sit down and watch it boring.
Yeah. You wouldn't have been dozing off.
Yeah. I had fun in T20.
Yeah.
Probably is that, I don't know. But the thing is, as I say, I put a question out there, whatever the case may be, and people start to behave like that. And as I say, if I had it in public, it was a question, man. I say, no, but people would not be like, tell me about mother. And what kind of person?
People might have jumped down your throat, even if if you was the one person in the bar without opinion, men might have come, but it would not have turned, no stranger, nobody who's strange to you never met before, would I tell you, go and play cricket on your mother.
Men tell me about, you don't know about cricket? And I'll be like, well, I understand education might be a thing, because nothing about this talked about my knowledge of cricket.
Yeah,
I just simply asked a question.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I guess they would have taken it like you're dissing test cricket, right? You're dissing this form of the game, because I remember the people who like test cricket already have this feeling like that is for the real cricket aficionados. All the bandwagoners, all they don't know nothing about cricket. People all go like that shit, that gimmick thing they call T20. But real cricket. I know, and people who like that, who sick fans, who like that.
Okay, Ajo, go ahead.
Who are like that, people, Carmenders behave like that too. Who is that kind of snobby way, we real into this thing. You's a novice, you don't know about them things. So you might take to this gimmick shit, but the real cricket men love the game in its purest form. So maybe that is what you're seeing there too.
No, but let me get the joke in it, right? It's a real comments, 100 and something comments, right? There's only two people ask me, but but we have to get to see that match, right? Because as I say, I video it, right?
Right.
I video the two games playing, right? Only two people ask.
No,
we could see the test.
The test match.
Yeah, but a man asked, but what were you watching now?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, a man asked, but what were you watching now? And the next one was like, something similar to that now, boy. Like we're showing the test, whatever the case may be. And So all these just are people like, so you think they were watching it? They knew where to see it?
No. I don't believe some of them might not even be big cricket fans in general. They just was social media. Just bring out the people. They need to rap and they need. I know what was the next subject you wanted to transition into, but you want to touch on it now because this brought to mind the other thing I wanted to talk about,
which is the female gym.
Yeah, right. The female gym
so
thing. Right.
For the people who don't know, a young lady came out, Trinidadian young lady came out on social media, and she was saying that she would pay twice the price to go to an all female gym, right? And that started real rap. I mean, I've heard many people come with different things. Some people come to defend her. Obviously, some of the people come to defend her, bashing men, coming and going. Then there's a woman who came out and said, "Sister, here going on, eh? Darling, you talk for yourself. Because when I go in the gym, I was going in the gym for two things." A woman said this. She said, "I was going in the gym to work out and to watch man." You understand? But Rondell Fields had a spin on it that I could appreciate. I'm not saying that is right or wrong, but I understand his spin on it. And then the next Indian guy, he came with a different spin on it as well. But the end result was a lot of bashing a men, not that much bashing a woman, but a lot of women bashing men. Till I see a girl say that men are so entitled. You understand? That's why they think they should be in a gym, the same gym with a woman, or whatever the case may be. And as I say, it was just a bashing game and going back and forth. And I think, first of all, if you want a gym for women, okay. If you can't find one, open one. Or find some other female friends who back in here.
If there was a market for it, it would have existed.
Right. So the thing is, there are two women who come out and say they are all female gyms. There are two of them come out and say that Megan Fit or Fit Megan or something. So
them gym is in the back of the yard. And I think they might be doing that not because they want a safe space for women, but because they kind of brand. I don't know who the person is, but I'm almost certain 100%. Well, I would bet a lot of money that they are that way, not because they want some safe space for women to work out, but because they branded themselves as female fitness gurus. They're doing things specifically for women, how to, get the ass you want, get the hips you want, that kind of thing. And is more like that is their fitness brand, so it would appeal to women, and so they kind of push that way. But I don't think any one of them build or rent some brick and mortar place with dumbbell and thing and renting it only to women and only allowing female patrons. I doubt that very much. Because I don't know if any of them could co-ed gyms in this country struggling. I don't know if anybody could rent a space and make money.
But to be fair, for all the people who supporting what the young lady said, y'all should pay twice the price. If they pay twice the price, it will help. She said she willing to pay twice the price to have an all-female gym, so.
No, I didn't know this thing was something happening down here, right? But I don't know if it, and I'm asking you now, it stems from the video that was going around on the internet for the girl who was trying to bait the man into gaping.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know if it stemmed from that, but I could see possibly how it could.
Because that has become a big issue abroad now. So I'm thinking that is what brought the issue.
Yeah, so it's something that started to bubble abroad a little while now. That I mean, that done started to play off and it done started to go crazy already across there. So for the people who don't know about that situation, there was a woman doing some exercise in a gym, right? And she has a mic clip onto her, like the mics we have here now. And her I guess it's her phone a little distance off.
Some kind of camera.
Some sort of camera, some sort of recording device. But at a distance from her, and she's doing her workout, and there's a guy behind her in the shot. First of all, you didn't want to acknowledge that you have me in a shot.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, actually being in a shot, but in a shot.
Yeah.
And that is not intrusive of itself.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But okay, no problem. And he doing his exercise, and every now and again she would talk, and she's saying quiet. She trying to talk quietly. Watch her, he's gonna watch me. And he would look now because obviously, who the fuck you talking to? Like, I in the gym trying to work out, and this person is just talking.
Yeah.
And so every time she talks, you'd watch like what? You understand what I'm saying? And then you see, look, and then eventually, I think she was putting up some weights and
Yeah, he came across
Yeah.
and asked if she needed help putting the weights up.
yeah,
And she's like, nah.
yeah. So and they trying to create this job.
She is an attention-seeking idiot on the internet, trying to rile up this whole, women can't go anywhere without blah, blah. Right. First of all, I don't know where you could go where you feel you have the right to not be glanced at. Now, I assume, because if somebody's staring non-stop at you, that veers into harassment. But you said somebody was mentioning in title just now. What would give any woman the feeling, other than entitlement, that she could go somewhere and control how other people operate around her? Not someone coming into a personal space, not someone, constantly badgering her or sitting and staring menacingly at her. But she feels she has the right to go somewhere and control how much you glance at her. And that is not entitlement at all. Right, because those are the rules we operate under now. Though in the world that we live in, you could go on the road and control how other people behave too. Not just you. You have the ability to control how other people behave. But anyway, let me not even go down that road because I'm going.
You know that same one, right? After people investigate, you know that same one who was in the gym and upset about men and men pressuring them and men.
The girl who posted video in the States at home. Yeah.
You know she have OnlyFans?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. And this is all of this is content. Everything is about content and attention, bro. That's what it's coming to. That's why I say I shouldn't even get so riled up because none of these people really believe these things. They're just piggybacking on what is popular, on what gets likes, on what they, you understand? I mean, as you said, if you want to have an old woman gym, have a woman gym. End of story. No, you sent me the video with another guy who's name
Rondell?
No. Oh gosh, Trini Driver.
Right, Chini Driver, yeah.
Right. Was he other name?
Rambles.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Where he was breaking it down, right? And I agree with him 100%, except that he was saying, he's one that when people tell you what they want, don't argue, just get them, right? So he said if they want a woman gym, then more woman gym, and then then they will see what stems from that. They will see how many women really feel unsafe working out in a and if they fail on their own. But I disagree from the perspective of give people what they want. When they ask for it, don't argue. If your objective is for them to stop arguing, because they don't. And I've always used this with respect to reparations, right? Now we have, white people across this world who keep pretending that they're so concerned about the cause, that black people have to face, right? The issues facing the black community. They prostrate themselves at the feet of all of these charities like Black Lives Matter. They speak from sun up to sundown about how much they care and how much they want equity and they want to reverse the injustices of the past, right? From the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States to the Prime Minister of England and everywhere, all of them, right? They want equality and justice, whatever, right? Why are you fighting reparations? Just however you work it out. Pay it. And I used to say just pay it because then you wouldn't have to deal with the argument anymore. You wouldn't have to deal with, the argument is always, they starting from a deficit so they can't catch up to we had to, the sins of the past have put them back and all that's true. Right? So you think, if however we do it, where we develop some color scheme, and if your skin pigment is, after a certain, meets a certain criterion, we pay you, no questions asked, right? And you think, that is it there. We've leveled the playing field, everybody have money, let you go from here, don't talk. But the reality is, that's not going to be what's happening. What's going to happen? The reality is that people who make their name and who make money and who become famous and write books and so on, race baiting and race hustling, they're not going to stop. They're not going to say, all right, problem solved. I'm going to now become a nobody. No, they're not. They're not. They're going to find other reasons why we still aren't where we're supposed to be. and then you would have just paid trillions of dollars to still deal with the same argument. I'm bringing it back to this point. And nothing stopping them from having an all-woman gym. But let's say it's to build the all-woman gym for them. Let's say the government was to say, boy, you know, we recognize that women need a safe space, blah, 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 blah. And they build an all-woman gym. Right? And that all-woman gym fails for whatever reason. You think they're going to say, well, you know, we overestimated how many people really had a demand, really demanded this service. No, they still find some way to say that somehow the patriarchy and male privilege stood in their way. I don't know, they might say arguments like, well, is men preventing the girlfriends and wives from going?
Right, and then they will say, is the wage gap. The women can't afford to go in the gym.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to stop because what they're doing has no rooting in any genuine sentiment. It is just, well, this is what is get clicks. This is why here. This is what the cool kids saying now. So I just jump on the bandwagon.
So I have one point, and then I'll give you a point that a guy was making on a video I was watching last night. One is, but for one, women acting like they're confused as to why men behaving that way. Because first of all,
behaving what way? Oogling them?
Or if you don't call it that, well, that men upset or men calling them out on this point they're making with this all women gym thing, right? No, the thing is, I know all the men is soft men and the men is panty men and the men is this and the men is that, right?
Who's saying that?
These women and them, a set of women who supporting this girl cause. First of all, when you make a statement like that, you want this all woman gym just to be for the mere fact of safety, right? That's the main thing you're pushing. Then you're inadvertently saying or indirectly saying that men generally are bad and are some sort of danger towards you. And most men would be comfortable with that. Right? If I don't do no one at night is going to gym and I don't harass nobody, don't say that, right? Now some men will be able to whatever and brush it off, and some men like, nah dog, you can't be on that. So my thing is, why will they call out the issue with the men who just get the pressure in the gym? First of all.
Well, that's always my argument. Don't say men as a category. Say these particular people are a problem.
Right? So whether they calling you fat cat or whoever they calling you, I don't know, right? That is affect you in whatever way. Go and you tell the management of the gym, here, I trying to do my thing here, and every time I squat, this man balling catty, whatever, and let them throw him out of the gym. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But when they come to broad brush, man, and then the point that man was making last night, which I find was true, yes, of more the psychology in the difference between harassment and flirting.
Right. If you like the man, it's cool. And if you don't like the man, if the man ugly, then all of a sudden
he's a creep. Right. And he's harassing you. Right. But if it's a man who you find attractive, right. You know, whether you married or you're in a relationship, whatever, if you find the man attractive, it's a different ball game.
No, okay, I get that. But what I would say is, listen, because, and I think I was saying this off air the other night. Okay, I've come to realize that everything I think normal or what is happening in my world isn't necessarily what happens everywhere else. Because I hear this and I find it extremely confusing because I've worked out in gyms all my life. And I've never been in a gym where I saw any woman on a regular feeling uncomfortable. Never, ever made to feel uncomfortable by men around them. Never. In fact, most regular gym goers, female gym goers, are friends with most of the men there. So even if a man was starting to act out of timing, she and the trainer is good. She could just go and tell the trainer, hey, here this our man is, and the trainer will come, hey, and tell her behave yourself. And I've never even seen that, right? But I'm willing to accept maybe that's my male privilege. I've never, I'm not a woman, so I've never had to go through it. I could ask many of the women in my life, do you all go to the gym and find it to be so, to the point where, no, I must go to, I think we have to have an all-female gym. I think those are narcissistic women who are making, just like the girl in the gym who was making everything happening in the gym about her. I think if there are women who really, really feel like that, most of them are like, that's going on in their brain, right? But if there are situations where men are being inappropriate, unnecessarily inappropriate, I think if you live in a world with other human beings, you have to give way to interactions. Now, every time somebody talk to you, you want to be talked to. But that's just part of life. You can't, if you want to not live like that, you can live on an island, right? You can live by yourself.
Yeah.
Well, right. You can live by yourself on an island, right? So I could be, when I'm going down the road, I have to make allowances for somebody stopping to ask me for money. I didn't invite him to ask me for money, but
the man had to come and wipe a windscreen, dog.
Yeah.
And by 3 traffic lights, 3 different men come to wipe a windscreen. I don't want them to wipe a windscreen.
Right? But that's part of life. Now, I wish I didn't have to deal with them, but okay. I can't control everything around me. So I think you have to make allowances for people interacting with you. So if a man see you, give a compliment, and you ain't give him no, or you maybe you just respond politely, but you ain't give him no current, no reason to come back and give your next compliment, then all right. And the man constantly coming back, we have an issue, right? First of all, I don't know why I can't just say that to the man, right? Because we are all strong and independent, right? We just like men, right? So then you should, if it was a man, and a man kept making strange comments to him, he'd be, hey, bro, give my ease up. Please and thanks, right? So, okay, but if you can't tell him, if you make it known to whomever is in charge of the gym, like you say, an end of story. But do we have a situation in this country where gyms all over are just filled with these men who just can't control themselves and just making this place so, or is that just something that they're making up so that they can have something to talk about on social media and cause rab? Like what's going on now? I have us talking about it.
And gain popularity because when obviously the algorithm, this seem fiery, this seem polarizing, this seem like it's causing some bacchanal. They push it to more and more and more and more people.
But I mean, Naldo, you tell me, have you ever been in a gym and seen situations where women?
Actually, it's the opposite. I remember when I just started to go to the gym by Food Basket, right? I know starting the gym. And you know it is when you go in that gym, nobody can come and help you just so, right?
Yeah, right.
So I go and I start on the treadmill. And I walk in on the treadmill, taking a nice walk, simple. I mean, for somebody with my size, then I was even bigger, right? Back then I was about 300 and something pounds. And 2 girls eventually come across and big man like you is walking. Wow. Yeah. Wow, I tell you about that already.
No, I never.
And tell me, come now, start to run or something.
Wow.
Seriously. Yeah. But wow. I think we would have had this conversation where you would have say, when you start, do go and run because you damage your knees and you damage your shin and whatever. So I, take my time to walk.
Yeah, which is what you should do. Yeah.
And these 2 girls come and jump me. And that was one of my fears in going to the gym, to be honest with you, that
and men were the ones.
No, it was men.
Men.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was 2 women.
And the thing is, you could tell, and as I was telling, a lot of these, you could tell when the sentiment isn't genuine, right? Like you were mentioning earlier about 2 people, if you really want a resolution to a situation, you wouldn't fight. You'd want to hear the other person's side. When somebody starts, well, shut up and listen to me because this is my issue, so you have a right to talk. Well, you aren't trying to find a resolution with me. You are trying to either hurt me, offend me, get me angry. You're trying to get your revenge. You're trying to vent. You're trying to do all kind of things, but you're not trying to find a solution. Because if you're trying to find a solution, then you would at least take into consideration how I feel, right? Now, none of these women are seeking to talk to men to find out about it. Now, I understand they don't want to hear, well, go, let's dress up a nice thing. What you want me to do? Okay, dress up a nice thing. Don't get the man the right to harass you. Look at you. Again, you have the right to control what people look at.
Right.
I don't know what world you live in, right? But that's not an entitlement that you have, right?
But listen, I want to make a point with that look at thing, though. Sorry to cut you, but you can't tell me that you just put on tight thing and a little bit of thing to go in the gym and vex when people look at you. But when you want to go out, or when you understand what I'm saying, and you want to attract eyes, you just put on.
I think they want to attract eyes in the gym too.
Right?
You feel I know what they're trying to do.
Well, that's not what they're claiming. You understand what I'm
saying? I don't believe that they... Listen, there's workout clothes and there's what girls working out in now.
Because at the end of the day, a man can come in the gym and work out in a big jersey and a loose fitting track. And so a woman could do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Men do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
And women do it all the time
and
too.
sometimes get way more gains.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But so the thing is, so
none of that is for them and them alone.
right? But if you want to claim that, you can't claim that now, but then in the next situation.
Oh, listen, I don't care what you cannot control how people watch you, bro. You understand? As I say, past a certain point, or at least before we pass a certain point where okay, you're staring every time I turn around, you're making eye contact. Now I'm starting to feel imposed upon. Okay, all right, that's a bit much. But you cannot tell anybody how they should avert their gaze from you. Who are you? Are you Medusa or something? I'm not allowed to look at you. What is wrong with you? I don't walk out in the world and ever feel I could control whether people watch me or not. You understand? And if I'm standing somewhere and I constantly see a girl glancing at me, well, I will feel, hey, they must be know me from somewhere or something. But whatever I feel it is, the point is, I don't feel like I can walk up, hey, stop watching me. Only a woman would feel that, and then she would call men entitled. Only a woman would believe she could control how the world operates with respect to her and not see that as entitlement at all. And one last thing I'd like to say, and I've always mentioned this, making the point again about these aren't genuine sentiments that they feel, it's just things they're saying. I would never forget, I listened to the BBC some years ago, and they had a panel on to talk about women in the boardroom. And there was one woman on the panel, a female host, a female panelist, and two male panelists. So it was two, right? And the female panelist, who was I can't remember now, but she was some businesswoman of some sort. She was some executive in some company or something like that. And she made the point that, female leadership was something that was needed in the business world because, when men populate the boardroom, you get a lot of overly cavalier behavior. And essentially, she didn't say it this way, but she said, all the men is getting to a dick measuring contest and is get real they're ego driven and they could take unnecessary risks. And that's not good. And I think she was specifically speaking about financial institutions, because I think that's where she worked, right? So she meant that, they could take risks with investors' money. And I was like, and nobody on the panel stopped her. In fact, the men who were on the panel, in fact, everybody, Now, what she just did was she painted all men with one broad brush by saying men are generally egotistical. And that for that reason, they should not overpopulate a boardroom. But if you said all women are emotional and for that reason should not be in a boardroom either, they would say, but you can't say that. That is sexist. What you just said was a sexist statement. You took this characteristic and you painted it across an entire gender or entire sex of individuals. You can't do that. But she just did the very same. And in fact, she did it twice because she's saying men are egotistical and women are not. So are they really dedicated to the principle of no prejudicial behavior or no discrimination or no sexism? No, they're not. Because they're quite happy to be sexist whenever it makes their point or whenever it is something that serves their agenda, which is in her case promoting why women should be in boardrooms. But she just said, she said all men are egotistical, and men just nod like idiots. Oh yeah, you're no. I mean, she may be right, but then if she's saying that, then I should be able to say, well, all women are emotional, and then we can say, well, we could argue whether we want more emotional or egotistical or whatever. But you can't tell me, no, it's sexist to call women emotional and say they can't lead because they're emotional. But it's not sexist to say men can't be.
Because the spin on it is that the woman could make emotional decisions, which mightn't be the best decisions to the business either.
Right.
So if you want to have a real conversation, then we could talk about, we just talk about if it's this boardroom and business, right?
Yeah.
Then you could put stipulations in place that, hey, you cannot spend more than this. Or so whether it be man or woman, you understand what I'm saying? A way to resolve an issue. But then instead of actually trying to resolve the issue, is more pointing fingers
Well, the point is, you shouldn't be saying that you need women or more men because of a characteristic. Because if you say that, then you are essentially saying this thing we're not supposed to say, which is that men are on one way and women are another. You keep claiming that's not true. Individuals are individuals. So there could be a man, who he has just as much chance as being egotistical as a woman. So therefore, we shouldn't be pushing for more women on the board because women bring a different characteristic. Because then you'll be saying that women generally have a particular characteristic, and you claim that that's not proper. It's not good to do that. But you're actually lying, because you do think it's good to do that, but only when it's a positive characteristic, right? If it's a negative characteristic, we can't paint you all with that broad brush. But if we want to say women being like, if in this situation being measured and less egotistical is a good thing, then we could paint all women with that brush. And lastly, you mentioned it there just now, but when you want to point out bad men, instead of pointing to bad men or addressing their behavior, I've always made this point as well. I remember when there was one of those domestic violence spates where we had a lot of women falling prey to their male partners, right? And so everybody in the business community was up and down trying to tell man to behave themselves. Stag still have the stupid ads there's run. I don't drink beer, but if I used to drink beer, I'd never drink a Stag in my life. Ask you to behave and how I supposed. Anyway, and the Chamber of Commerce, and I can't remember what the head of the Chamber of Commerce was doing at the point in time, but he had who he was at the point in time. Sorry, but I can't remember his name. But he was having a press conference and he was addressing the situation and basically telling men that it was their responsibility to police other men in workplaces. Because, as he had a AmCham, is AmCham I said?
Yeah, see one of them
business
right,
it was AmCham, right? He was specifically speaking to the businesses and dealing with sexual harassment and stuff in the workplace. I saying it's the job of men to police other men, right? And I couldn't help but say to myself, let's say what we had was, instead of a spate of domestic violence incidents, we had terrorism being committed by radical Islamists. Who would be allowed to go on any platform and tell Muslims it is your job to all them crazy people in all the community, it's your job to police them. Now, people do say that, not anybody in an official capacity. And when they do say it, they're quite rightfully shouted down. Because I'm a normal Muslim. Well, I'm not a Muslim, but you know what I mean. What the ass? I don't know what drives him.
But just now, I think you're pushing it real far there. Who in their right mind right now, right? Because let's be real. Statistically, we could say most of the violent crime that's committed in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, yeah. I use that example too. African people.
It's done by African people. Who is going to tell African people, all the African people, tell them African people and them who just be killing people, stop.
Right.
Anybody could jump out and say that any day.
Because, again, the principle is we cannot paint an entire group with the sins of a few. But when you call things like masculinity toxic in and of itself, you are saying that inherent to all of us, all people with penises, or
we know where it is these days,
right? But let me stick with the old school definition of men now, right? As by way of having penises, we all have some sort of dysfunction within us. And therefore, we are all culpable in some form or fashion, which is something you cannot do with any other group. As I said, you cannot do that. If there's an attack, if there's a terrorist attack, you don't come out and condemn all Muslims. You aren't allowed to do that. You aren't allowed to hold all Muslims responsible, and you aren't allowed to tell Muslims, behave yourself. I don't know what they're teaching all in their mosque, but they have to change it up. No, you don't do that. You can't do it as you just pointed out, if there's one specific group that tends to be more responsible for violent crime, you can't come and say, hey, I don't know what they're doing on their household, in all your households. I don't know what all these people with that pigmentation, I know what is all it, well, you have to stop it. because quite rightfully, people like me and you go watch like, hey, I do all that. I not raise no criminals. I don't know criminals in my backyard. What are you talking about? Why are you talking to me like that? But whenever it's men, it's okay to do that. And the same people who are always standing on principles of fairness and equality and justice and no prejudice, blah, 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 are quite happy to just join in the chorus of, well, you know, even Bungie and them, hey, man, all the fellas, all that thing, all that. Why are you talking to me?
No, there are two spins on this because I remember, I think I was having that debate with somebody on TikTok at some point, and when I put my video and she saw my video, she deleted her video one time, so my video automatically get pulled on because my video was stitched to her video, right? So it automatically came down to, because I think she realized, oh shit, I think I backed myself into a corner here. Right? Because she was saying, why don't you talk to all your friends? She said, why don't you talk to all your friends, right? And all your male partners, right? Because the thing is, all he doesn't know what is we doing behind closed doors. So then my videos...
How can I tell him what to do?
Yeah, so I said, but you don't make my point. You just said we don't know what is we doing behind closed doors. So how you am I talking? And I was explaining to people, you feel... I know fellas who's going to say, Dan, I raped that girl, you know.
And we all give him a high five or a bounce. Yeah, boy, don't tell me how you rape she. But no, that's not how it works.
Right? Or a fellow will come and say, Dan, I do in whatever, you know, I just harass women, I just whatever, and we be like, yeah, cool, but
no dog. Show me how now. Let me come. Where does do it? Where does go and pinch your one bottom? I want to come with you and pinch. No, they don't.
Right. So I mean, guys, and I've been trying to make that point, but obviously they doesn't want to hear that point because
it doesn't. They've already made up their minds how they want to feel about the issue, and they don't want conflicting information because now that means, I have to be nuanced. Now I can't just come out and have these extreme views and malign a particular group of people. I have to be kind of nuanced and understand that, hey, it's not toxic masculinity or the patriarchy. It's just that we have a situation where some people aren't socialized properly, period. Right? And it can manifest itself in one way because men have more testosterone and are more prone to being aggressive. Then yes, it will manifest itself in that way when men are not socialized properly. But when women aren't socialized properly either, there's a form of femininity that can get really toxic too, right? And so what is at root here is not the masculinity or the femininity. It is the fact that people are toxic, right? And what we need to do as human beings, because we all have particular proclivities and because of biology, we are driven to behave in particular ways. We have to find ways to control ourselves and to kind of take our natural tendencies and point them in a positive direction. So the man the same aggression that a man could use to beat his wife, he could use to protect his wife. So what we don't want to take the aggression out of him. We want to train him to use the aggression to protect his wife and his family, not to cuff down his wife when she didn't make what he want to eat, right? And the same kind of femininity that could make a woman be a very proficient and competent caregiver is the same thing that taken to the next extreme could make her very conniving or very or not very conniving but overly protective, right? And overbearing, and could get to the point where she could be very toxic in a relationship because she doesn't know when to stop that caring or desire to control everybody around her. That could be express itself in a negative way too. But we don't want to understand that. We don't want to understand that these things aren't good or bad in and of themselves. It's just we need to learn to harness them in positive directions.
And if we're not having those conversations, the problem will never fix. Things will only get worse.
Yes.
And we continue fighting and
as I said, the reality is they don't want to have the conversations because they don't want to be calm. They don't want to find a solution. They want to keep talking.
And before we shut it down, I just want to bring up this topic because as we just talking about the people, a lot of the times men are the ones thrown under the bus and everybody's accept that. Right? You're not accepting it when it's religion. You're not accepting it when it's race or anything else.
Right. Yes.
Right. But when it's time to throw men under the bus, people just jump on board.
Yes. And the sad thing is men do.
Men too.
Men jump on, they jump on board with the throwing under the bus a certain kind of man too.
Well, I mean, because that is what we call now pick-me's, men who want to be favored by women. And you see a lot of them in TikTok comments. Whoa, I could never be so girl. You understand? I don't know I'm to them men. But at the same time, within the last 2 weeks, there was a guy who did a video and posted it on social media, wanting to end his life. I think he attempted to.
Okay.
And then there was one who did and was successful. Well, actually, there was two who did. And
you call it successful, is that real? I know what you mean, but it just it is. If you attempt to do something and you execute, then yes, you were successful. But it sounds strange to call killing yourself an attempt to kill yourself a successful attempt. But yes, go ahead.
Right, but who went through? Two of them actually in most recent times. One of them I knew. I ain't gonna say I know him real good. I mean, I know him.
Raul?
Yeah.
I grew up with him, man.
Serious?
Yeah. Right on the corner from where I live. We used to play ball and things together.
Yeah. But through these songs, same thing.
Yeah. Long before Torah song and thing. Yeah, I know.
So I can't say I know him personally, but he'll every time always respect, always cool, always calm. I don't know how you know him to be.
Yeah. I mean, he was a little full of himself. And where I talking about we was teenagers, you know what I mean? And this was curly hair Raul before the dread and all of that, right? And he was like himself and always feel he was a birdsman. And, you know what I mean? I kind of was a birdsman, to be fair. But I mean, we had a little falling out on the court, but that is always everything there's always be when you're young and men fall you hard and and then too, we used to play kind of against each other. We used to be from my side, for the neighborhood against Suffolk Road now. And well, he wasn't from Suffolk Road, but he used to line with them for us plenty. So we kind of a little rivalry, but it was nothing bitter, nothing for men to actually get vexed. And so he was cool, always cool to me, yeah.
And, but then on the next hand now, they want to say, men have to talk and men have... But the thing is, plenty times, men don't get opportunity to talk. You know what I'm saying? When they broad brushing and they're all men. I'm not saying that's what led to this situation or whatever the case may be. But it's all men and men and men.
And let's be real, dog, it's not just they don't get time to talk. When men put their thing forward, the real bitter ones will be like, who cares? You know what women been going through for the longest while? Again, because they don't really care. They don't really want equality. They don't want good gender relations. They want, they're bitter and they're angry. And to be fair to some of them, maybe they have good reason to be. Maybe they had men who hurt them really badly in the past. They had awful fathers, whatever it is. But the point is, they don't care. They don't want an equal playing field. They don't want men and women to coexist in harmony. They want to vent. You know what I mean? And to some extent, they want women to be dominant. They want to exact revenge for whatever they feel happened to them in the past. So when men do speak up and men do talk about their problems, like, boo-hoo, how long women have been going through, try and have periods now and that's how they respond. Because that is toxic femininity. They are toxic individuals. So,
And so the thing is, it's just so funny to, because there's so much of them.
But that's not Raul had post something on social media saying he wanted to.
No.
I know saying one. I didn't know none more that.
No. It was the next fellow who posted.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought he said he told them to post it and one got through and the other one didn't.
Right. So the thing is, I just saying that. You see, I saw a lot of women, obviously, because he's a fella who gives a higher attraction to him. So, you see a lot of women saying, hey, boy,
Junior Gong dead.
Well, they're saying...
everybody say, but he's ready look like Junior Gong.
Yeah, right? But, you see a lot of women saying, hey, boy, you could have talked to me, boy, ting. You understand? Men need to talk. But then... It might be the same woman who bashing you all men. All need to talk to all their sisters, it doesn't help. You know what I'm saying?
But now you're doing the same thing. You're telling them to talk to people.
Talk to their sisters.
But they might be like, I don't know them. Can I get lost? I good with all the men in my life. Yes, I know some men, have bad tendencies or whatever, but I not like that. So you go tell me talk to them.
Until we all come to the table, all you go and talk to their sisters and bring them to the table. We by the table here waiting. We as men, we by the table here waiting.
I not telling all this to talk to nobody because it's not my business to talk to no jackass man either. So don't come to me and tell me to talk about to someone.
But I didn't talk about the extent of jackass. I talking about bringing the people to the table for us to have a conversation. You understand what I'm saying?
But there are too many people with vested interest in being divisive. And some of them, they're not getting money out of it, and they're just getting attention again, wherever it, you know. I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day, and they was like, "Oh, I can't understand how people could just want negativity. What kind of people are you talking about?" I said, "Well, you've never seen the kind of people, personal relationships where it seems like one of the parties, if not both parties, just want rab. If things are going, if it's too quiet, if you know things are going kind of harmoniously, they find something to argue about. Why else would they do that? Because they like rab. Somehow they feed off it. They feel, you and I might say we don't want no part of that. That drains our energy, but it feeds them. So there are too many people that have vested interest in being divisive. So they don't want to bring anything to the table. They don't want to have no conversation. They just want to be divisive. They want to shout and scream and argue and call people names and be judgmental. And social media has just given these people a huge trumpet and an opportunity to gain the attention that they're seeking. And so I've told you 1,000 times, until we take them thing and I mean, it's stupid because we're doing this on TikTok. So yes, I understand the irony of that. It's not lost on me, but still, if it is, I had to give up this so that social media could just, you know, disappear for all of time, then I would gladly do that, bro. And even if I was making plenty money off of this, I being real. Even if I was, you know, we was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month off of content creation. He told me, yeah, bro, you're gonna lose your livelihood, you know, but you will go be rid of social media in no time, brother, man. Sign up. Take it away. Because I think humanity is heading for the toilet because we don't know how to deal with it. Unfortunately, there obviously are very positive ways to use it, and if you have sense, you could use it. But
I going with humanity to the toilet on a heated seat. Mean about you now, Bridget?
No.
I want a heated seat. I want cold toilet bowl like Master P.
No. Now I tell you, big man, if you come on for me now, tell me, hey, 10 million US, 100 million US.
Nah, I don't know what you're saying.
No.
Yeah, stop yourself.
All right, nah. Okay, if it come on for me 100 million US, I say, yeah, right, but social media had to stay. Yeah, I would take the 100 million. As a matter of fact, to be honest, I'll probably take 10 million US too. But it would be hard. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, give me the 100 million. It would be like, I would really want to find a way to just, if I could just get enough to be comfortable, you can keep the rest and do it on social media. So if you could give me like 100,000 US and take social media, I would take that. I would take that. But I had to get something. I had to be comfortable. I had to be comfortable. But yeah, I would love to see it go away because none of these problems we're dealing with, none of this frustration or humanity, like I said, is heading for, you know, the toilet if we continue going down this road.
And well, we've seen it with everything. Man and woman relationships, race relations, politics.
Everything.
Social media has now amplified the craziness in a lot of people.
Yep.
And everything is...
It's made politicians more concerned with optics. And you want to see incompetence. Observe politicians who care about nothing other than what is said about them on social media. Period.
There is somebody said that. I think I tell you that. I want to know, you know, the UNC politicians and care about them. When you're talking about the RIC thing.
Yeah. How I know that the UNC politicians don't really care about the constituents. Well, because they're politicians. You know a different kind of politician? I don't know any. I've met a good few in my time, and I've never met any who've been out of that mold. None. Who cared more about you than they about themselves. Never. Ever. Ever.
It is very great to shut it down for this week. Remember, subscribe, like, share, do them thing there. Subscribe on your podcasting platforms and subscribe on YouTube as well. The app or the APP 868. Yeah. That's what it is.
Go on.
We out. Only have some conversation now. We have some conversation this week. Stop bashing. Stop chewing talk. Good boy. One more thing before we go. Boy, before we go. Don't go yet. You realize what they're doing with the Nyla?
What are they doing with it, boy?
now they started to play the Nyla without Skinny in it. Because the song is Nyla alone and then Skinny jump on the song after.
I see you was rapping with Job over that on Twitter. It was not rapping, but I see you commented on.
Or somebody, I'd say some witness, and I'd ask the question.
Yeah. I see somebody, I think it was Job, had posted.
Me know who it is.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He had posted, congratulations, I think.
Yeah.
And you started to question what the percentage of the tune. Okay, yeah.
So, the thing is, I've heard 2 radio stations so far playing the Nyla version alone. And I've started seeing people on social media playing the Nyla alone version.
I haven't even heard it. As I say, Carnival ain't really happening in my brain.
Yeah, so
I haven't really been paying attention.
Efforts are being made
To push it.
to push Nyla. Not Nyla and Skinny, but Nyla.
Right.
Yeah.
How in your opinion, how you feel them efforts going?
They seem okay so far. Let me tell you what I say is because with she and Skinny performing, they're tearing up. They're tearing up out there. However, I don't know how the Nyla alone will translate on the road. Because Skinny really saved that song. The song was a nice song. When I hear it alone, it's a song like Nickelodeon song or something. Or Disney song. But when Skinny just really bring the life to that song now, boy. So if that song win road match with her alone, well, it can't win with Shane Skinny.
You know the Mafia.
Yeah, the Mafia real, and I was wrong, and the Mafia is alive and well. Yeah? All right.
So we going.